Every man has been there. You ask her a simple question, and instead of a straight answer, you get a performance, a carefully crafted response designed to protect, deflect, or manipulate. Not because she's evil, but because that's how some women are conditioned to communicate. Today, I'm revealing the question some women will never answer honestly. Why they can't tell you the truth, and what's really happening when they dodge, deflect, or straight up lie. This isn't about hating anyone. It's about understanding the game so you stop being played. The first question they'll never answer honestly. What's your body count? Ask this and watch the gymnastics begin. Why does it matter? The past is the past. I don't keep track. Meanwhile, she knows the exact number, the names, the dates. Probably has a spreadsheet. But telling you the real number, that's not happening, because she knows consciously or subconsciously that the number changes how you see her. Some women will divide by 3, others will only count relationships, and many will simply refuse to answer. It's not random, it's strategic. They understand that whether fair or not, the number affects their perceived value in the dating market. So, they protect that information like state secrets. The real number stays locked away while you get the sanitized version. Here's what's fascinating. Many women choose responses based entirely on how they want to be perceived, not on reality. Every answer is filtered through, how will this make me look, before it reaches you. It's not malicious, it's protective. But it means you're having conversations with a PR representative, not a real person. I had a client whose girlfriend swore she'd only been with 3 guys before him. 2 years later, drunk at a party, her friend let slip about her wild phase in college. When confronted, she said those didn't count because they weren't relationships, the mental gymnastics to maintain the image she wanted him to have. Incredible. The question, do you still think about your ex? We'll never get an honest answer. The truth, of course, some people think about their exes. They were significant parts of their lives. But admitting this feels dangerous. It might make you jealous, insecure, reactive. So instead, you get never. You're all I think about while she's checking his Instagram story at 2 a.m. This avoidance of direct honesty isn't random. It's about preventing negative consequences. Some women have learned that truth brings conflict, judgment, abandonment. So they've developed this sophisticated system of half-truths, redirections, and selective honesty. They're not lying exactly. They're managing information to manage outcomes. The emotional self-protection runs deep. When being fully transparent means risking loss of power, safety, or approval. Transparency becomes a luxury they can't afford. This is especially true for people who've been punished for honesty before. They've learned that truth is dangerous, so they wrap it in bubble wrap or hide it entirely. Female social conditioning plays a huge role here. From childhood, many girls are taught to be agreeable, avoid confrontation, prioritize harmony. If you don't have anything nice to say, becomes if the truth might cause problems, create a softer version. This isn't conscious manipulation, it's trained behavior. Counseled a couple where the woman finally admitted she'd been faking enjoyment in the bedroom for 3 years. 3 years. Why? Because the first time she tried to give honest feedback, he got defensive and sulked for days. She learned that honesty brought punishment, so she chose performance over truth. Some women hide their true desires, motives, and intentions because revealing them feels like handing over weapons. If you know what she really wants, you might use it against her. If you know what really bothers her, you might exploit it. So the real truth stays hidden while you get the safe version. The question, what do you really want from this relationship, rarely gets honest answers. The truth might be, I want to get married within 2 years, or I'm just having fun until someone better comes along. But saying either of those out loud, too risky. So, you get vague non-answers about seeing where things go while she's already planned your wedding or your replacement. Some women tell men what they want to hear because they've learned that's what works. You want to hear she's not like other girls, she's not like other girls. You want to hear she loves sports, she loves sports. You want to hear she's low maintenance, she's the lowest maintenance ever. Until you're committed, then the real person emerges. These safe answers aren't accidents, they're strategy. Maintain the image. Avoid responsibility. Control the narrative. It's not evil, it's adaptation. Some people have learned that controlling information means controlling outcomes. And in a world where they often have less physical power, information becomes their strength. The question, are you attracted to anyone else? We'll never get the truth, the reality. Attraction doesn't stop when relationships start. People notice other attractive humans, but admitting this suicide mission. So, you get, I only have eyes for you, while she's favoriting her personal trainer's thirst traps. What some women don't say reveals everything. Silence, avoidance, vague replies. These aren't communication failures. They're communication choices. When she changes the subject, attacks you for asking, or suddenly needs to use the bathroom, you've hit something real. The deflection is the answer. Men often misinterpret this polite dishonesty as genuine truth because they're expecting direct communication. You ask a question, you expect an answer. But for many people, questions aren't requests for information. They're tests, traps, opportunities for judgment. So, they respond accordingly. The questions that trigger the most dishonesty usually involve past partners, current desires, boundaries, and loyalty. How was your ex in bed? What would you change about me? Have you ever cheated? These questions threaten ego, reputation, and emotional safety. Truth becomes the casualty. Have you ever cheated might get you never, even if she has. Why? Because past behavior predicts future behavior, and she knows you know this. Admitting to cheating, even if she's changed, means planting seeds of doubt that will grow forever. So, the past gets rewritten to protect the future. Some women avoid honesty when the truth could lower a man's opinion of them. Preserving respect, attention, and status matters more than accuracy. This is especially true early in relationships when image management is at its peak. The real person emerges slowly after investment makes leaving harder. The question, what do you really think of my friend's part family? Won't get honesty if the truth is negative. She might hate your mother, think your best friend is a loser, believe your brother is creepy. But saying this, relationship suicide, so you get diplomatic non-answers while she vents the truth to her friends. Speaking of friends, a woman's social circle usually reinforces these safe lies. They support selective honesty, encourage maintaining idealized versions, validate the image management. Don't tell him about Vegas. He doesn't need to know about that. The group protects the narrative. Male frustration comes from expecting directness from someone who doesn't communicate that way. Men often operate on logic. Question asked, answer given. But for many people, communication is chess, not checkers. Every word is calculated for effect, not just information transfer. The question, why are you upset, rarely gets the real answer. The truth might be something from 3 weeks ago, something you can't fix, something she's embarrassed about. So you get, I'm fine, or you should know, or tears without explanation. The real reason stays protected while you guess wrong repeatedly. To understand someone's real truth, you must look at behavior, not answers. Actions don't lie. Habits reveal priorities. Friend groups show values. Patterns expose reality. If you want to know who someone really is, watch what they do when they think nobody's watching, not what they say when everyone is. Do you ever compare me to your ex? Of course, comparisons happen. The human brain categorizes and compares automatically. But admitting this, never. You'll get your incomparable. While she's mentally noting that her ex was taller, funnier, or better at something, the comparison happens, the admission doesn't. The question, what's wrong with our sex life? There is a minefield. The truth might be, she's not attracted anymore, she's thinking of someone else, or you're doing everything wrong. But that honesty could destroy everything. So, you get vague complaints about being tired or stressed, while the real issue fears. Some people have learned to use strategic dishonesty as protection. They've been burned by honesty before. Someone used their truth against them, punished them for transparency, weaponized their vulnerability. So now truth is rationed, controlled, filtered through past pain. Are you happy? Might seem simple, but it rarely gets honest answers. The truth might be she's miserable, but scared to leave, content, but not thrilled or planning her exit. But saying any of this makes it real, creates obligation to act. So you get, of course, while she dies inside or plots her escape. The body language tells you everything words won't. Avoiding eye contact during answers, sudden busyness when topics arise, phone guarding, story inconsistencies. These are the real communications. The mouth lies. The body doesn't know how. Do you actually like my hobby interest? No. Some women don't care about your fantasy football team, your car modifications, or your gym stories. But pretending to care, that's relationship maintenance. So, they perform interest while mentally planning grocery lists during your passionate explanations. The question, have you been talking to other guys? Gets deflection even when innocent. Because talking has levels, and admitting to any level opens interrogation. That work colleague who texts just friendly. That ex who reached out, didn't respond. She did. That DM from a stranger, didn't even see it. She did. Financial questions never get full honesty. How much did that cost? How much debt do you have? What's your spending really like? Money is power, and revealing financial truth means revealing vulnerability. So, numbers get fudged, debts get hidden, spending gets minimized. The emotional intelligence some women have is used for narrative control, not transparency. They know exactly what to say to get desired outcomes. They understand which truths serve them and which don't. This isn't stupidity or evil. It's sophisticated social navigation. Would you leave if I lost my job, got sick, gained weight? The honest answer might be, depends on the circumstances, but that sounds conditional, transactional. So, you get never I love you for you. While secretly everyone has limits, conditions, breaking points they won't admit, the social media question, who's that guy, commenting on your photos, triggers immediate defensive dishonesty. Even if it's completely innocent, the interrogation feels invasive. So backstories get simplified, connections get minimized, interactions get downplayed. Some women will never honestly answer what would make you leave because revealing their deal breakers gives you a roadmap to avoid them or fake compliance. The real boundaries stay hidden while you get generic answers about cheating or abuse. Obvious things that reveal nothing real. The appearance questions are impossible. Do I look fat? Is she prettier than me? Do you notice I'm aging? There's no good answer, so honesty isn't even considered. The question isn't seeking information, it's seeking reassurance. Truth is irrelevant. What did you and your friends talk about? Gets edited versions. Always the real conversation about relationships, sex, complaints, comparisons that stays in the vault. You get sanitized summaries, while the real discussions would shock you. Past relationship details remain permanently obscured. Why did you really break up? What was he like? Do you miss anything about him? The full truth includes things that would threaten current relationships. So you get partial truths, selective memory, revised history. The question, do you think about other people during sex? Come on, everyone's mind wanders. Sometimes fantasy happens. But admitting this, relationship explosion, So you get offended denial while the mental roller deck spins freely. Some women perfect the art of technical truth while actual lying. I didn't sleep with him, just everything but. I wasn't flirting, just being friendly. I didn't lie, just admitted crucial details. The letter of truth while violating its spirit completely. Are you still in love with me? Might be the ultimate impossible question. Love evolves, changes, ease, and flows. Sometimes it's strong, sometimes it's habit, sometimes it's gone, but the life built together remains. But nuanced truth too dangerous. So you get of course regardless of reality. The fertility and baby questions get strategic answers. Do you want kids? Might get someday when she means never, or definitely when she means desperately and immediately. The real timeline, the real desire, the real plan, these stay hidden until tactical advantage appears. Sexual history details vanish into selective memory. Have you ever done specific act, gets answers based on current image management, not past. Reality? Things done with others might never happen, while things she wants might suddenly have always been fantasies. The loyalty test questions. Would you ever do OnlyFans? Would you stay if I went broke? Would you wait for me? Get idealized answers about undying loyalty, while the real answer is, depends on circumstances I can't currently imagine. Some people use dishonesty as relationship maintenance, small lies to avoid big fights, white lies to preserve peace, strategic omissions to maintain stability. They see it as kindness, not deception. The truth would hurt, so they choose harmony over honesty. What do you think of my performance in bed? We'll never get full honesty if improvement is needed. Crushing sexual ego feels too dangerous, consequences too severe. So you get encouragement and gentle suggestions, while real frustrations get discussed in group chats. The future planning questions get aspirational answers, not honest ones. Where do you see us in 5 years? Gets the answer she thinks you want, not the scenario she actually envisions. The real future thoughts, the doubts, the alternatives, the exit strategies stay unspoken. Emotional questions during conflicts never get real answers. Why are you really mad? The truth might be accumulated resentment from 17 different things, but that's too much, too complex, too dangerous. So you get simplified versions or complete deflection. Do you trust me? Seems simple, but isn't. Trust has levels, areas, conditions. Someone might trust you with her life but not her phone. Trust you with money but not around other women. But explaining this complexity too hard. So you get yes or no while reality lives in between. The comparison to other women questions. Do you think she's attractive? Would you want to look like her? Can't get honest answers. Admitting attraction to others or personal insecurity feels too vulnerable. So you get dismissive answers while real thoughts stay private. Some women have been trained that their truth isn't valuable, isn't safe, isn't welcome. Years of being punished for honesty, criticized for feelings, dismissed for thoughts. So they learn to hide, to protect, to perform. The lying isn't malicious, it's survival. Have you ever faked an orgasm? Statistical probability says yes, but admission never. That would mean past dishonesty, current disappointment, ongoing deception, too much complexity, too much consequence. So the performance continues while truth remains unspoken. The social dynamics questions get political answers. Do you like my mother? What do you think of my friends? Truth might end relationships create awkwardness, forced choices. So you get diplomatic nothing, while real opinions get saved for safe spaces. Phone privacy questions trigger immediate dishonesty. Who texted you? What are you looking at? Even innocent activity gets hidden because the interrogation feels invasive. Privacy becomes secretive. Normal becomes suspicious. Nothing becomes something. The question, are you looking for something better or won't get honesty? Because everyone keeps options mentally open, even if not actively pursuing them. Admitting this human nature feels like betrayal. So, you get loyalty performances while natural awareness continues. Some women answer based on consequences, not truth. Will this answer cause a fight? Will this truth end things? Will this honesty help or hurt? The calculation happens instantly, unconsciously. Truth becomes secondary to outcome management. What's your biggest fear about us? Because surface answers like losing you when real fears might be becoming my mother, wasting my youth, settling for less. The deep fears that question relationships themselves stay buried under safer admissions. The meta question, do you ever lie to me, creates a paradox. Honest answer admits to dishonesty. Dishonest answer proves itself false. So you get qualified answers, technical truths, deflections that avoid the trap while confirming its existence. Recovery from past questions never gets full truth. Are you over your ex? Have you healed from that? Do you still have issues with that? Admitting ongoing struggle feels weak, broken, undesirable. So healing gets performed while wounds still bleed internally. The effort questions sting too much for honesty. Am I doing enough? Do you feel appreciated? Is this working? Truth might be no, but saying so means admitting relationship failure. So, encouragement replaces honesty, while resentment builds silently. Some questions can't get honest answers, because honest answers end relationships. The truth isn't worth the consequence. The honesty isn't worth the destruction. So the performance continues. The lies compound. The distance grows. Understanding this isn't about becoming paranoid or bitter. It's about recognizing that some people communicate differently, protect differently, survive differently. The dishonesty isn't always malicious. It's often protective, strategic, survival-based. Watch patterns, not words. Behavior over time reveals truth that words never will. Actions under pressure show character that answers hide. Choices when nobody's watching expose reality that performance masks. The ultimate truth. Everyone lies about something. Everyone has questions they won't answer honestly. Everyone protects parts of themselves from full exposure. The key is understanding why, recognizing patterns and deciding what you can accept. If you want more honesty, create safer spaces for truth. Stop punishing honesty with explosive reactions. Stop using truth as ammunition later. Stop making honesty dangerous, but also recognize some people will never feel safe enough for full truth. Pay attention to which questions trigger defenses. Those are the areas where truth threatens something important. Those are the zones where reality differs from presentation. Those are the spaces where the real person hides behind the performance. Remember, the inability to answer honestly isn't always about you. It's often about their past, their fears, their protection mechanisms. The lies aren't personal, even when they feel that way. They're about survival in a world where truth has been dangerous. The questions some women will never answer honestly reveal more than answers would. The deflection, the performance, the strategic dishonesty. These show you who someone really is, more than rehearsed honesty ever could. Stop expecting direct truth to indirect questions. Stop believing every answer at face value. Stop ignoring behavior that contradicts words. Start watching patterns. Start recognizing deflection. Start understanding the game. Most importantly, decide what level of honesty you need and what level of performance you can accept. Because complete honesty might be impossible, but degrees of truth exist. Find someone whose level of honesty matches your need for truth. The women who can answer these questions honestly, they exist. They're rare. They're usually older. They've done the work. They've learned truth serves them better than performance. They've discovered honesty creates deeper connection than perfectly crafted lies. But for many, the performance continues. The questions get deflected. The truth stays hidden. Not because they're bad people, but because that's how they've learned to survive in relationships, in society, and life. Some women will never answer certain questions honestly, because the cost of truth feels too high, the risk seems too great, the consequences appear too severe. So they choose the safety of performance over the danger of authenticity. Understanding this dynamic isn't about judgment, it's about navigation. Know the game, recognize the patterns, adjust your expectations. Stop seeking truth where only performance exists. Stop expecting directness from those trained in deflection. The social conditioning runs so deep that many don't even realize they're being dishonest. The performance has become identity. The deflection feels like truth. The strategic answers seem genuine even to those giving them. Look for the women who've broken free from this conditioning, who answer uncomfortable questions without flinching, who own their past without revision, who admit their desires without shame. They're out there, but they're not performing for attention. The ultimate question some women can't answer honestly. Who are you really? Because the performance has been running so long, the real self got lost. The authentic person got buried under layers of strategic presentation. Finding truth means excavating through years of protective deception. The conversation about honesty in relationships needs to happen, but it requires both sides to admit their strategies. Men need to acknowledge their reactions that make honesty dangerous. Women need to recognize that strategic dishonesty creates distance, not safety. Until that conversation happens, honestly, ironically, the game continues. Questions get asked, performances get delivered, truth remains hidden, and real connection stays impossible. The very thing meant to protect relationships ends up destroying them. Remember this: when someone can't answer questions honestly, they're telling you everything you need to know. Not through their words, but through their avoidance. Not through their answers, but through their deflections. The inability to be honest is the most honest thing about them. I want to hear from you. What questions have you asked that never got straight answers? What deflections have you encountered? What patterns have you noticed? Drop your experiences in the comments. Let's map out this landscape of strategic dishonesty together. Because awareness is the first step to finding real truth in a world full of beautiful lies.